Imagine walking alone at night, the cherry blossoms casting long shadows. You feel a presence that shouldn't be there. In Japan, this could be a yokai, a spirit, a monster, a whisper from the unseen world. They aren't just one thing. A yokai could be a cunning fox, the kitsune, shifting into human form. Or it could be something born from neglect, an old paper umbrella left forgotten for a century, suddenly sprouting a single eye and hopping after you on a rainy night. These beings, from fearsome horned oni to mischievous river sprites, were once explanations for the unexplainable. Today, they've leaped from ancient scrolls into anime and video games, but their essence remains. They are a reminder that the world is far stranger than we think, and that not everything that watches us from the dark is human.
Deep in the mountains of Japan, you're never truly alone. Fierce spirits known as Tengu are watching. They might appear as humanoid warriors with burning red skin and impossibly long noses, or as silent, winged creatures gliding between the trees. For centuries, they've been seen as the guardians of these sacred places, protecting the forests from the disrespectful and punishing those who dared to act with arrogance. The Tengu have one particular obsession: human pride. A monk who bragged of his wisdom or a warrior boasting of his skill could suddenly find themselves hopelessly lost, their path twisted by an unseen hand. These weren't acts of malice, but lessons. Sharp, swift reminders for the overconfident. But these spirits were more than just tricksters. They were also some of history's most demanding teachers. Legends claim that Japan's greatest swordsmen learned their techniques in the deep mountains, trained through grueling challenges by the Tengu. The famous warrior Minamoto no Yoshitsune was said to have been taught by the king of the Tengu himself, Sojobo. Their iconic look, often depicted in the robes of Yamabushi mountain ascetics, is a blend of human and bird, with a long nose that some scholars believe evolved from a bird's beak. They are often seen holding a magical feather fan capable of stirring up great winds. Even now, this belief endures. Hikers in Japan sometimes leave small offerings at mountain shrines, a quiet nod to these ancient guardians. It's a sign of respect, because the Tengu embody a powerful truth whispered by nature itself. Humility is strength, pride is a dangerous illusion, and the mountains always remember who walks them with honor.
In the dense, humid forests of Japan, where rivers twist through quiet shadows, people spoke of a strange creature waiting just beneath the surface. A yokai, small in size, but unsettling enough to shape centuries of folklore. This is the Kappa. They are said to lurk in ponds, lakes, and deep riverbeds. At first glance, they almost look human, but their skin is green like river moss, their hands are webbed, and their backs curve like a turtle shell. Yet the strangest part of all sits on top of their head, a shallow bowl filled with water. This water is the source of their strength. As long as it stays full, the Kappa remains powerful, fast, and clever, sometimes clever enough to be dangerous. But the Kappa is not a mindless monster. Legends describe them as mischievous tricksters who loved pranks, challenges, and testing anyone foolish enough to wander too close to the river. Some behave like mischievous children. Others imitate human voices to draw people toward the shore. Their curiosity can be harmless or deeply unsettling. Still, the darker stories were warnings, tales of travelers pulled underwater, animals vanishing near the banks, children told not to play alone by the river. Kappa legends were more than myths. They were a way to keep people safe from dangerous waters. Yet for all their power, a Kappa carries one unusual weakness. Because of their strict sense of politeness, if a person bows deeply to them, the Kappa must bow back. And when they do, the water in their head spills out. Their strength collapses instantly. Weak, harmless, defeated not by force, but by respect. The Kappa remains one of Japan's most fascinating yokai, playful, dangerous, and strangely bound by manners. A reminder that even the most unsettling legend can hold an unexpected depth. In every quiet pond or shadowed river, there is still a whisper of the old fear that something might be waiting just below the surface.
If you ever hear heavy footsteps behind you, don't turn around. Because in folklore, that sound means one thing. An Oni has already found you. They say Oni are born from the darkest emotions a human can feel: anger, hatred, jealousy. When those feelings grow too powerful, they twist a soul into something monstrous, and that's when an Oni appears. These creatures are giants, towering, muscular, with skin the color of blood or storm clouds. Two horns rise from their skulls, their teeth are sharp like a predator's, and in their hands, they carry a spiked iron club, a weapon said to crush anything in its path. But what makes Oni terrifying isn't just their strength, it's the way they judge human weakness. In old stories, they roam mountains and lonely roads at night looking for people who lie, cheat, or harm others. And once they find their target, the punishment is swift. No one escapes an Oni's sense of justice. One of the oldest legends tells of a remote village where people began disappearing. Every night, villagers heard something massive walking through the forest, but when they lit lanterns to look, the footsteps would stop. Finally, one brave hunter followed the sound. He found a cave high in the cliffs. Inside was an Oni, its yellow eyes glowing in the dark, surrounded by the belongings of the people it had taken. The creature stepped forward, iron club dragging across the stone floor, and the hunter realized the truth. The Oni wasn't choosing victims at random. It was punishing those who had committed crimes in secret. The hunter escaped with his life, but the message spread. You can hide your actions from people, but never from an Oni. For centuries, parents warned their children, do not lie, do not steal, because if your heart becomes dark, an Oni will come for you. So if you ever hear those heavy footsteps behind you, remember the stories and hope they aren't meant for you.
If someone ever calls your name from behind you and you didn't tell anyone where you were going, do not turn around. Because in Japan, that's how a kitsune begins its trick. These aren't your ordinary foxes. They're ancient shapeshifters with a love for chaos, for mystery, for messing with humans just to see what happens. And once a kitsune picks you as its target, you're in for the strangest night of your life. People say they can copy anything, your friend, a traveler, even someone you love, but they always get one thing wrong. Maybe the smile is too sharp. Maybe the voice sounds a little too perfect. Or maybe the shadow stretching out behind them isn't human at all. Kitsune grow more powerful the longer they live. Every 100 years, they earn another tail. And when a kitsune reaches 9 tails, it can bend reality like a dream, making you see things that aren't real and believe things you swore were impossible. There's a famous story of villagers walking home at dusk. A woman in a beautiful red kimono stepped onto the road and politely asked for help. Her voice was warm, her smile sweet. But when their lantern light flickered, the villagers saw something move behind her, a sleek foxtail sliding across the dirt. The woman noticed them looking, and her smile widened just a little too far. The lantern went out. When it flickered back to life, the woman was gone. Only the fox remained, sitting perfectly still, as if watching them decide whether to run or scream. Kitsune aren't monsters. They're tricksters, playful, powerful, unpredictable. Sometimes they protect forests and shrines. Sometimes they help lost travelers. But other times, they appear just to see how brave you really are. So if you're ever walking alone and someone calls your name with a voice that sounds almost right, don't look back too quickly. Look at the ground first. Check the shadow. Because if that shadow has a foxtail, you're not talking to a human at all. You've just met a kitsune, and your night is about to get interesting.
Imagine hearing a beautiful woman call your name from the forest. But when you step closer, you realize she has 8 shadows instead of 1. That's when you know you just met the Jorōgumo. And by then, it's already too late. In Japanese folklore, the Jorōgumo is a spider who lives long enough to become powerful, clever, and terrifyingly beautiful. Once it gains enough strength, it learns to disguise itself as a stunning woman. A soft voice, graceful movements, everything perfectly human, except for the hunger. The Jorōgumo doesn't chase its prey, it lures them. She waits near waterfalls, forest paths, and abandoned inns. Sometimes she pretends to be injured. Sometimes she plays a biwa, the soft music drifting through the trees like an invitation. Travelers follow the sound, believing they'll find someone who needs help or just some company. Instead, they find silk. Silk so thin, you only notice it when it's too late to escape. There's an old tale of Edo of a samurai who followed a beautiful woman into an empty house. Her smile never faltered, even as he noticed cobwebs coating every single wall. When he turned around, she wasn't behind him anymore. She was above him, 8 legs spread across the ceiling, fangs glistening, her human skin peeling away like a costume. He barely escaped with his life. Others weren't so lucky. Some stories say she can control smaller spiders, sending swarms to paralyze her victims. Some say she feeds slowly, letting her prey drift into a dream while she drains their life away. A few versions even claim she can fall in love, just once in her long life. But even then, her hunger eventually wins. What makes her so frightening isn't just the transformation, it's the deception. Evil that looks kind, danger that looks beautiful, a monster that smiles. So the next time you hear a lonely melody deep in the woods, or glimpse a woman whose shadow splits and twists behind her, remember the warning. Not everything beautiful wants to be loved. Some things beautiful just want to feed.
If you ever walk through a battlefield at night and hear faint teeth chattering, don't stay. Because in folklore, that sound means the Gashadokuro is close. This isn't a normal yokai, some fleeting spirit in the dark. It's a giant skeleton, over 15 feet tall, physically built from the bones of people who died in war, famine, or were left in mass graves. The idea is that when too much pain and hunger die in one place, the bones themselves rise and become something else, something hunting. And you can't run from it easily. You can't fight it, and you definitely can't hide. The scariest part, you can't see it coming. Legends say the Gashadokuro is completely invisible to human eyes until it's right above you. The only warning you get is a soft, dry, clattering sound, like teeth tapping together when there's no one there. Once it finds a person, it lowers its massive skull silently from the darkness. It wraps its bone hands around them and drinks their blood straight from their veins. No screams, no struggle, just silence. There's an old story from famine-stricken villages where travelers would simply disappear without a trace. No tracks, no signs of a fight, no blood. The only clue was the weak, rhythmic rattling that survivors heard late at night. The Gashadokuro wasn't hunting for food. It was hunting out of pure resentment, a spirit born from mass starvation, suffering, and the anger of forgotten deaths. Even now, the legend says if you feel a sudden, unexplained pressure on your head, or you hear that faint chattering with no possible source, you should immediately drop to the ground and pray. Because the Gashadokuro always attacks from above, and once its shadow finally falls over you, you won't escape.
Look around you. That old umbrella by the door, the teapot you never use, the broom leaning in the corner. What if they were all watching you, waiting? In Japanese folklore, they just might be. They're called Tsukumogami. The idea is simple and a little terrifying. An ordinary object, a teapot, a sandal, even a paper lantern that survives for 100 years without being thrown away, wakes up. It grows a soul, and with it, a personality. Some turn playful, becoming mischievous tricksters who love causing a bit of harmless chaos. But others, they remember everything. Every time they were mistreated, broken, neglected, or tossed aside without respect. They come back with one purpose: payback. One of the most famous is the Kasa Obake, the hopping umbrella spirit. People used to throw old umbrellas out without a second thought, so legend says some rose up in anger. They grow a single glaring eye, a long tongue, and hop around on one leg, startling everyone who crosses their path. Then there's the Chochinobake, the haunted paper lantern. Discard one carelessly, and it might transform into a glowing spirit with sharp teeth, drifting through the night looking for the person who disrespected it. But the real heart of the Tsukumogami legend is this: even the simplest object can hold memories. If you treat your belongings with care, they might stay loyal for 100 years. If you don't, you could wake up in the middle of the night to find your old broom watching you from the corner, very much alive and very much annoyed. So the next time you're about to throw something out, remember, in folklore, everything you own might just be counting the years, waiting for its chance to come alive. Would your belongings come back friendly or furious?